We are on the eve of a momentous gathering where two powerful men will sit down, square off face-to-face, mano a mano, have the future of the Republican Party in their hands, and then decide how America will change come November. Yeah, it all sounds really juicy, but talk to those who understand such matters and they laugh at such descriptions, because reality is a lot easier to unravel. So then, let's deal with another dose of POTUS reality. Complete transparency from those who want to lead this nation. And when it comes to tax returns and where the candidates stand, only one refuses to release tax transcripts. Shouldn't those who support Donald Trump ask, why not? And there need be plenty of questions asked tonight about the Democratic presidential leader, such as why she can't shake the old man from Vermont. What will she do about the rising tide of people in her own party who won't trust her? And if she is exactly what Trump needs to card the upset. Let us force you to question everything. Stop being a lemming like other talk programs who are too scared to present all sides of an issue or a candidate. I'm Ed Berliner. Welcome to the Hardline for Wednesday, May 11th, 2016.
It's going to take more than a week just to repair and unify this party. And so I think what we want to do is sit down together and talk about how we can unify the Republican Party so that we can be at full strength in the fall. Because if we just pretend we're unified without actually unifying, then we'll be at half strength in the fall, and that won't go well for us. So that's what I think is necessary. And I think, we're looking forward to this.
All right, America, let us suspend with the nonsense here. Get down to some real business. At this stage in choosing who will lead America come 2016, we must be demanding answers. Those based on available fact, those that should be asked of every candidate at all times, and those that may cause us to bristle and wrongly believe are attacking certain candidates with falsehoods. We have to ferret out the truth. What we discuss here will then open up to you, and you can opine upon. Brave souls in the audience will do by lining up now. 1-877-NEWSMAX, 1-877-639-7629. All opinions are welcome. Those straying off point will not last long at all. The discourse begins right here on The Political Animal, because it's time to get down to business and a hard talk. Let's welcome attorney, retired Army colonel, and loyal conservative Kurt Schlichter, joined by the Democratic strategist and veteran political speechwriter from Catamount Strategies, Christian Hanley. I'm doing well, sir. Gentlemen, thanks a lot for joining us. Let's get right to work. Donald Trump has told the Associated Press he is not planning on releasing his tax returns ahead of the November election. He says because of an ongoing audit. First time that he has mentioned that excuse. He said he will release them after the audit is completed. Now, Mitt Romney says it's disqualifying if Donald Trump does not release his tax forms. Jennifer Rubin of the Washington Post says this creates grounds for a contested convention, questioning perhaps shady foreign investments and tax havens. And in the National Review, the headline, Trump's refusal to release tax returns is a ticking time bomb for the GOP, calling it a bait and switch style at its most dangerous. Kurt, as the conservative in the pairing here, I'm going to come to you first. The simple question, every candidate since Gerald Ford has released the tax returns. We know Hillary Clinton's returns. We know Bernie Sanders. Why won't Donald Trump do it? And should he be held with feet right to the fire?
Ed, I don't know why Donald Trump won't release his tax returns. Just don't care. At this point, this is not a traditional campaign. This is not the same kind of run that we've seen year in and year out. Look, I'm no Donald Trump fan. Every time I think of the fact that I'm going to have on his ballot by his name, just kind of makes me nauseous. But I don't really care about his tax
But why
returns.
don't you care, Kurt? Hang on, Kurt. I got to stop you there because I am going to hit this from both sides here, and I want to be fair to everybody. Every other candidate does it. He will not do it. Why should the American people and those who like Donald Trump, who want him to lead this country, not demand that he do what every other candidate has done, because there are going to be questions that he is hiding something? What's he hiding?
Who knows? I just don't care.
You're not concerned about that?
I just want to defeat Hillary Clinton. Doesn't matter.
You're not concerned about it?
Not a bit.
Okay, let's go to you, Christian, because hang on, let's take it from the left side now here, Christian,
all that.
because we know, no, we're not beyond it, actually. We're not.
We're totally beyond
that. No, we're not. We're here right now asking the question because people are asking him to do it. Hang on a sec, Kurt. Christian, let me come to you now, because from the left side, I would guess, and here's the facts, Bernie Sanders has released his. Hillary Clinton has released hers. I would imagine from the left that this is going to be an attack issue that the left will now use. And quite frankly, it's something that could be diffused rather easily and Donald Trump could take out of the mix.
Exactly. I mean, it's going to be a line of attack, and frankly, it should be. As you've already said, every other candidate in this race has already fully disclosed their tax returns. Trump is using this whole audit excuse, and it is an excuse. He could at least send out photocopies of what he already has on hand right now. And what does the audit have to do with that? As you were saying before, it must be something that is incredibly frankly, shady and disgusting.
Well, even if it's not, I'll tell you what, here, one sec, Christian, I'm going to interrupt you a second here. Let's just stop that. Let's just even say that it's not shady. All right?
Okay.
Let's not make that supposition here because that's not fair of us. He says that it's because he's got massive holdings, he's got a lot going on in the tax return right now, and it's something that could be very difficult for people to understand. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt on that one, Christian, and say, okay. But then, don't we all know that there are accountants, there are pages, there are things that you can release, that you can still put out there, and just holding it off adds another aura of ridiculous mystery that the Republicans shouldn't have to deal with.
Well, perhaps that's how I should have phrased it. Even if there is nothing shady contained in those documents, withholding them creates a specter of impropriety, and it creates a line of attack for the Clinton campaign. That is something that Trump has within his power to diffuse before it even becomes an issue, and he has not done so.
And that, I think, is the point, Kurt. Donald Trump can diffuse all this and stop it immediately. We don't need any of this mess at this point. The Republicans and the conservatives need to get on with the business of defeating Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders and focusing on them. They don't need these ridiculous distractions. He's a man who knows everything. He knows business inside and out. Why doesn't he just do it?
I think you have a faulty premise.
A faulty premise of what?
Hands these out. Everyone's going to look at them and go, oh, okay, let's move on to the next issue. No.
What's wrong with that?
I understand why he's doing it.
What's wrong with that?
I'd love to have a candidate who I'd feel comfortable releasing his tax returns. But he's going to get attacked whether he releases them or not. So I guess he's just opting for the strategy of, I'm not going to do it. And you can guess why.
But here's the point, Kurt, and I'm going to say this very frankly. Whether it's Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, I don't care who the candidate is, because I'm a journalist. I'm somebody who deals in what the facts are at this point. Should we not hold everybody's feet to the same fire? Go after Hillary Clinton. Go after Bernie Sanders. Go after Donald Trump on these things. Make them hold their line. Make them do what the American public expect of them. What is wrong with that?
Well, of course, you have another faulty premise.
I have a faulty premise trying to get to the truth?
Look, everybody isn't having their feet held to the fire. Hillary Clinton is out there committing felonies involving classified material,
which she's under investigation for.
Transcripts of her Goldman Sachs soirees for $250,000 for an hour-long speech. She's not doing it. She's never going to be held to the same standard. Why should Donald Trump allow himself to be?
But she's under investigation for everything you talked about. And
it will all go.
Okay.
The Obama administration is going to allow the indictment of Hillary Clinton, an indictment that would be, if I had done it when I handled classified material, I'd be in Leavenworth already.
All right. Well, please, we don't want you in Leavenworth.
Do it. You're crazy.
We don't want you in Leavenworth. That's okay. We like you in your chair right there because we enjoy having you. That's okay. All right. Hey, Christian, I'm going to go ahead and start with you on this one here because it still comes on the right, but it's still something that, from a strategy standpoint, we need to discuss. Paul Ryan and Donald Trump are going to get together tomorrow. They're going to sit down. I don't know about you. And by the way, Christian, are you a watcher of House of Cards by any chance?
Absolutely.
Okay. And if anybody watches it, I'm going to give you a spoiler right now because there's a great scene in this season where Underwood and his Republican challenger get together in a room to sit down and talk about military and things on how to fight a terrorist group. And all they do, they sit and they talk about sandwiches and they talk about what everybody else is doing wrong. Nothing really happens in it. Do you, as a strategist, expect anything to come out of this whatsoever that will be substantive or will at least make a difference?
Unfortunately, I don't think so. Paul Ryan is in a very difficult position, and I think from a public relations standpoint, from that side of his strategy, he's doing what he needs to do. He's being conciliatory without being Pollyanna-ish about it. He's being conciliatory without being overly optimistic. That said, once they are behind closed doors, I doubt that meeting will yield anything productive. But Paul Ryan is in a bind right now, and from a public relations, Republican Party standpoint, uniting his party, there's not much else he can really do at this moment.
There's something else here that comes into the whole discussion between the two of them. Paul Ryan says the Republican Party needs, quote unquote, real unification. Donald Trump says we don't need unification. He said it several times. I guess the issue here, though, is, Christian, to you first from the left, if the Republicans don't unify and don't put themselves together, Donald Trump says, hey, I can still beat the Democrats. It doesn't make a difference how much we're arguing. Does that frighten you?
It doesn't frighten me. I'm not sure how he plans to carry out that strategy without his party behind him. So far, this is a man who did not know what the term ground game meant until we were already well into the primary season. So far, all he knows is public relations and TV appearances. When it comes to actually putting canvassers on the ground and getting out the vote, he has no experience. He needs his party here. So that's not scary for us so much as it is for his prospects.
All right, let's, Kurt, to you then on that. The same question. Ryan says unite. Trump says, I don't need to unite. I can get it done. Wait a minute. Isn't that what this meeting is supposed to be about, Kurt? It's supposed to be about uniting the GOP to go out and beat up on the Democrats and win the election?
I would love to see the GOP unite, Ed. Boy, it's about time, too.
I'll give you
but
that.
There's a lot of hurt feelings in the Republican Party. There are a lot of people very angry. There are a lot of people who are saying never Trump. I'm always about this far from going never Trump. To his Hillary, and it expands. I would love to see them build some bridges. I'd love to see Trump learn about things like the ground game and about data operations, which he doesn't seem to think he needs. And, maybe he doesn't, because this guy's rewritten all the rules.
Well, I'll give you that much. He says he's going to
predicting
invest in rallies, not a robust ground game, as a matter of fact. He hasn't needed a ground game, but then again, people say that you can't win the presidency without it.
Well, I don't know. Because he's running a whole new he's running a whole new kind of campaign. Look, I've been predicting this guy would fail for the last year. I'm done doing that.
Okay, we appreciate that. I get it.
Being wrong.
All right, Christian, 15 seconds to you very quickly. Joe Biden says, I would have been the best president. Would he?
That's very subjective. I personally don't have an opinion on that. I will say, however, he would be a great uniter and someone who could bring in independents and moderates into the fold.
I like the way he says, I would have been a good president, but Hillary's still okay. There you go. I love the way it works. Christian Hanley, Kurt Schlichter, gentlemen, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. We'll do it again. Thanks a lot. Your phone calls on these issues still ahead, 1-877-NEWSMAX, and quite frankly, the American people have a lot to talk about when it comes down specifically to this tax issue. I'm going to be interested to hear your answers. 1-877-NEWSMAX. But up next, we'll talk with a facet of the Republican Party that Donald Trump cannot win the presidency without. And he is not exactly their favorite person at the moment, because we brought some Republican women together in a focus group and decided to ask them some very serious questions. 1-877-NEWSMAX. Get on the line now. We'll get to you momentarily when the Hard Line continues.